During Christmas barbecue, my girlfriend joked loudly, "If we ever get married, he'll be lucky because of me." I stayed quiet. Later, my uncle pulled me aside and said something that changed everything. I'm 28, a software engineer, and I'd been with Lauren for 3 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party, hit it off over terrible karaoke, and things just kind of clicked. She was fun, spontaneous, always the life of the party. I'm quieter, more analytical. I thought we balanced each other out. Our relationship had its rough patches. Lauren had a habit of making jokes at my expense in front of people. Nothing too brutal, but enough that I'd occasionally feel a pinch of embarrassment. "He's so boring sometimes," she'd laugh to her friends while I was right there. Or, "I have to drag him everywhere. He'd stay home forever if I let him." I told myself it was just her sense of humor, that she didn't mean anything by it. Everyone laughed, so it must have been fine, right? The thing is, it wasn't just the jokes. There were other moments too, like when we'd be shopping and she'd hold up a shirt, saying, "This would actually look good on you. You should trust me more on these things." Or when we'd be at dinner with her friends, and she'd interrupt me mid-story to explain it better. Little things that felt wrong, but not wrong enough to fight about. I buried them, told myself I was overreacting. Christmas came around, and my family was hosting our annual barbecue. We do it every year. My parents' place has a huge backyard, and my dad takes it as a personal challenge to grill the perfect steak. My whole extended family shows up. Aunts, uncles, cousins, the works. It's chaotic and loud, and exactly the kind of thing I love. I'd been looking forward to it for weeks, excited for Lauren to spend more time with everyone. She'd met them before at smaller gatherings, but this felt different somehow. More official, like she was becoming part of the fabric of my family. The afternoon started perfectly. Sun was out, music playing, my mom's potato salad making its rounds. My dad was already 3 beers in, holding court by the grill with his tongs like a scepter. Lauren was in her element, chatting with my cousins, laughing loudly at my dad's terrible jokes. She wore this bright red dress that made her impossible to miss. I watched her from across the yard and felt this surge of affection. Maybe things were good. Maybe I had been overthinking everything. I was helping my Uncle Tom set up the folding tables when I heard her voice carry across the yard. It cut through the music, the conversations, everything. "Honestly, if we ever get married, he'll be so lucky because of me. I mean, look at him. He'd probably still be wearing cargo shorts to dinner if I hadn't stepped in." Everyone within earshot laughed. My Aunt Karen nearly spilled her wine. My cousin Dylan doubled over, slapping his knee. I froze mid-step, a table leg still in my hand, the metal cold against my palm. Lauren wasn't looking at me. She was holding court with my mom, 2 of my cousins, and my sister Beth, gesturing dramatically with her drink. Her face was flushed, animated, alive. "I'm serious," she continued, riding the wave of laughter. "He's sweet, don't get me wrong. But God, someone had to teach him how to dress like an adult. And don't even get me started on his social life before me. What social life, right? The man was a hermit." More laughter. My mom was smiling, shaking her head in that, "Oh, you too" kind of way. Beth looked uncomfortable, but didn't say anything. I set the table down carefully, my jaw so tight I thought my teeth might crack. My Uncle Tom glanced at me, his expression unreadable, like he was waiting to see what I'd do. I forced a smile, God knows why, and walked toward the cooler, pretending I needed another beer. My hands were shaking slightly as I popped the cap. The metal cut into my palm. I took a long drink and tried to shake it off, but the comment sat in my chest like a stone, heavy and immovable. I kept replaying it. He'll be so lucky. Like I was some charity case. Like she was doing me a favor by being with me. I spent the next hour in a fog. People talked to me, and I responded, but I couldn't tell you what I said. My dad asked if I wanted to help with the steaks, and I nodded, standing next to him in silence while he explained his seasoning technique for what must have been the 1,000th time in my life. I wasn't listening. I kept glancing at Lauren, watching her work the crowd, and feeling this strange disconnect. Like I was seeing her for the first time and realizing I didn't recognize the person in front of me. Uncle Tom appeared beside me at the grill, holding a beer but not drinking it. "Can I borrow you for a second?" he asked quietly. We walked toward the side of the house, away from the noise and the crowd. Tom's in his mid-50s, retired military, the kind of guy who doesn't waste words. He served 2 tours overseas, came back and worked as a contractor, raised 3 kids who all turned out great. When he talks, People listen. He leaned against the fence and looked at me for a long moment, studying my face like he was deciding something. You heard what she said earlier. It wasn't a question. I nodded, not trusting my voice. Yeah, it's fine. She jokes like that sometimes. Does she? I didn't answer right away. Tom crossed his arms, his expression serious. Listen, I'm not trying to get in your business. You're an adult, you make your own choices. But I've been married 32 years to your Aunt Karen. You know what I've never done in all that time? Made her the punchline in front of other people. Not once. Not even as a joke. You know what? Why? Because I respect her. And she respects me. That's the baseline, kid. Not some bonus feature you unlock after 5 years or 10 years. The baseline. Day one stuff. I stared at the ground, my throat tight. A bird was hopping around near the fence, pecking at something in the grass. I watched it because I couldn't look at Tom. She was joking, I said, but even I didn't believe it anymore. Maybe, but jokes mean something. Especially the ones people make when they think you're not listening or when they think you won't call them on it. You think she'd say that stuff if she really believed you were an equal partner? If she saw you as someone worthy of respect? I didn't have an answer. Tom sighed, softer now. Look, you're a good guy. You work hard, you're smart, you treat people well. You deserve someone who sees that, who celebrates that. Don't settle for someone who thinks you're a fixer-upper project. Because that's what it sounded like to me. And I don't think I'm wrong. He clapped me on the shoulder, squeezed once, then walked back toward the party. I stood there for a while, alone, his words rattling around in my head like loose change. The bird flew away. I heard laughter from the backyard, Lauren's voice rising above the rest, and I felt something crack inside me. Not break, just crack. Like the first fracture in ice before it shatters completely. I went back to the party, but I was somewhere else entirely. I grabbed a plate of food I didn't want, sat at the picnic table with my cousins, and pushed potato salad around with my fork. Dylan asked if I was okay. I said I was tired. He bought it. Everyone always buys it. When the party wound down and the sun started setting, Lauren and I helped clean up. She was cheerful, energized, still riding the high of being the center of attention. She kept talking about how much fun she'd had, how much she loved my family, how my mom had already started hinting about grandchildren. We drove home in near silence. She was on her phone, scrolling through photos she'd taken, occasionally holding her screen toward me to show me a particularly good one. Your family's so sweet, she said absently. Your mom loved my story about that vacation we took to the coast. I think she's already planning our wedding in her head. She kept asking about my ring size. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my knuckles white. You really think I'd be lucky to marry you? She looked up from her phone, startled, her face confused. What? Earlier. At the barbecue. You said if we got married, I'd be lucky because of you. In front of my entire family. Her face shifted, confusion, then defensiveness, then annoyance. Oh my God, it was a joke. Why are you being so sensitive? Everyone was laughing. Was it a joke? Yes. Your family thought it was funny. Even your mom laughed. You're making this into something it's not. I didn't think it was funny. She rolled her eyes and turned back to her phone, dismissing me. You're being ridiculous. I was just having fun, being social. You always do this. You take everything so seriously. It's exhausting. I didn't respond. My hands hurt from gripping the wheel. We got home, and she went straight to the bedroom, already in her pajamas by the time I walked in. She kissed me on the cheek like nothing had happened. I'm exhausted. Today was so fun, though. Your dad is hilarious. She fell asleep within minutes. I sat on the couch in the dark, the TV off, just staring at nothing. I replayed the entire day. Not just what she'd said at the barbecue, but all the other little comments over the years. The jokes about how I dressed, how I talked, how I wasn't spontaneous enough, how I needed her to make me interesting. The way she'd introduce me to her friends. This is my boyfriend. He's shy. Like it was something to apologize for. Like I was defective somehow. I thought about Tom's words. You deserve someone who sees that. And I realized he was right. I did. And Lauren wasn't that person. Maybe she never had been. By morning, I made my decision. I packed a bag while Lauren was still asleep, moving quietly through the apartment, taking only what I needed. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop, a few books. I texted my buddy Andrew, asking if I could crash at his place for a few days. He responded within minutes. Doors open, man. No questions. Lauren woke up while I was zipping my duffel. She sat up in bed, squinting at me in the early light. What are you doing? I'm staying at Andrew's for a bit. I need some space. Space? Because of last night? Are you serious right now? I'm serious. She stood up, wrapping the blanket around herself, her face a mix of anger and disbelief. This is insane. You're throwing a literal tantrum over a joke I made. Do you hear yourself? It's not about the joke, Lauren. It's about the fact that you don't see me as your equal. You see me as some project you've been working on. Some guy you had to fix and mold into something acceptable. And I'm done being that. That's not fair. I've been nothing but supportive. Supportive? You mock me in front of people. You make me feel small. That's not support. When have I ever? Yesterday. At my family's Christmas party. In front of everyone I care about. You made me sound like some pathetic guy who should be grateful you're with him. Her mouth opened, then closed. She looked away. I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? She didn't answer. I picked up my bag and walked toward the door. Don't do this, she said, her voice cracking. We can talk about this. We can work through it. I don't want to. I walked out, got in my car, drove to Andrew's place across town. He opened the door with a beer already in hand, passed it to me without a word, and showed me to the guest room. I barely slept that night, staring at the ceiling, half expecting her to call or text or show up. She didn't. The next day, I went to work like normal, focused on code, debugged systems, avoided checking my phone. When I finally looked during lunch, there was one message from her. Can we please talk? I'm sorry. I didn't reply. I wasn't ready. Maybe I'd never be ready. That evening, I was sitting on Andrew's couch, staring blankly at some basketball game I wasn't watching, when there was a knock at the door. Andrew opened it. Lauren stood there, holding a small cardboard box, her eyes red and puffy. Is he here? She asked quietly. Andrew glanced back at me. I nodded, and he stepped aside. Lauren came in slowly, like she wasn't sure she was allowed. She set the box on the coffee table and sat down across from me, perched on the edge of the chair. She looked smaller somehow, diminished. I brought your stuff. Things you left at my place. Thanks. She looked down at her hands, twisting her fingers together. I've been thinking about what you said, and I talked to my sister. For like 3 hours. She said. Her voice broke. She said I do that. Make jokes at other people's expense. She said it's a defense mechanism or something, like I tear people down so I feel better about myself. I didn't realize I was doing it to you. I swear I didn't. You were. I know. Now I know. And I'm so sorry. I really am. I leaned back, exhaling slowly, feeling the weight of the last 2 days pressing down on me. Lauren, it's not just the jokes. It's the way you see me. Like I'm some guy you had to fix. Like I wasn't good enough the way I was when you met me. That's not true. Then why did you say it? Why do you always say things like that? She didn't answer right away. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. Because I was scared. Of what? That you'd figure out you're too good for me. That you'd wake up one day and realize you could do better and leave. So I guess I tried to convince everyone, including you, that you needed me. That you were lucky to have me. So you wouldn't leave. I blinked, caught completely off guard. Whatever I'd expected her to say, it wasn't that. So you put me down first? That was your strategy, I guess. I don't know. It's messed up. I know it is. My sister said the same thing. She said I sabotage good things because I don't think I deserve them. We sat in silence for a long moment. I wanted to believe her. Part of me still loved her, still remembered the good parts. Late-night conversations, lazy Sunday mornings, the way she'd laugh at my terrible impressions. But Tom's words echoed in my head. You deserve someone who sees that. I don't think this is going to work, I said finally. Her face crumbled, tears spilling down her cheeks. Please. I can change. I will change. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes. Maybe you can. Maybe you will. But I don't think I can get past this. Every time you'd make a joke, I'd wonder if you meant it. I'd be analyzing everything, waiting for the next comment. That's not a relationship. That's just anxiety. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, nodding slowly, like she'd already known this was how it would end. Okay. She stood up slowly, gathered her purse, and walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned back, her hand on the doorknob. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. You deserve better. Better than what I gave you. I know. The door closed softly behind her. I sat there for a long time, staring at the box she'd left on the coffee table. Inside were a few books, a hoodie I'd forgotten about, a coffee mug with some dumb joke printed on it, a phone charger. Small things. Nothing that mattered. Nothing that couldn't be replaced. Andrew came out of his room an hour later, tossed me a beer without asking if I wanted one. You good? Yeah, I said. And I meant it. Update 1 a month later. I ran into Lauren at a coffee shop downtown. I'd just finished a meeting with a client and ducked in for a latte. She was at a corner table with someone new, a guy with perfect hair and an expensive watch, both of them laughing at something on her phone. We made brief eye contact. She gave me a small, sad smile. I nodded and kept walking. My hands didn't shake. My chest didn't tighten. I ordered my coffee and left. I don't know if she ever really changed. I hope she did, for her sake and for whoever comes after me. But I stopped wondering about it after a while. It wasn't my problem anymore. Tom called me a few weeks after everything went down, just checking in like he does. How you holding up, he asked. Better, I said. A lot better, actually. Thanks for what you said. At the barbecue. Anytime, kid. You made the right call. Takes guts to walk away from something comfortable, even when you know it's wrong. Yeah. You seeing anyone new? Not yet. Taking some time. Figuring out what I actually want. Smart. That's real smart. I think he was right. Some people show you who they are in small moments. Jokes that aren't really jokes. Comments that cut just enough to sting, but not enough to bleed. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can try. You can make excuses, rationalize, tell yourself you're being too sensitive. But deep down, you know. And you have to decide if you're going to live with that knowledge or do something about it. I'm doing fine now. Better than fine, actually. I'm learning that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel small. That silence is better than laughter at your expense. That you don't need someone to complete you or fix you or improve you. You just need someone who sees you clearly and likes what they see. And maybe that's the lesson. Maybe that's enough. I still go to my family's Christmas barbecue every year. My dad still burns half the steaks. My mom still makes too much potato salad. Lauren's name doesn't come up anymore. Life moved on, the way it always does. And I moved on with it, a little wiser, a little more careful, but still hopeful. Still believing that somewhere out there is someone who won't see me as a project, just as a person worth knowing exactly as I am. That's all anyone really wants, isn't it?